Okay, as I mentioned before, I have changed the resistor value into 10k, is 10k ohm, right? And the same procedure, we have two multimeters, one for voltmeter and other one is for ammeter, right? And the power supply. Right? As the procedure mentioned, we have zero the power supply output, right? And likewise, I mentioned before, only I have I'm going to do only some few steps, right? Not like in the 1k resistor value, right? So I am going to do some fewer steps than that, right? First of all, I am going to turn on the power supply and increase the voltage value up to 2 volt, right? Now you can see the resistor, the voltage across the resistor, it is 1.79 and current value across the resistor is 0.17 milliampere, right? And I'm going to increase this voltage up to 4 volt. Then voltage across the resistor value is 3.9 volt and the current value across the resistor is 0.38 milliampere. Then I adjust the voltage up to 6 volt. Then voltage value is 5.9 volt and the current value is 0.6 milliampere. The voltage value of the power supply is 8 volt and the voltage value across the resistor is 7.8 volts and the current value across the resistor is 0.79 milliampere. Then up to 10, the volt value across the resistor is 9.75 and the current value is 0.99 milliampere, right? Then I'm going to change the resistor value into 100k. Okay. As you can see, I have changed the resistor value into 100k. Now I'm going to make the readings as we did in 10k resistor, right? You can see that is the when we applied the zero voltage into the circuit, these are some sort of null voltage values and the null current values, right? Unless it should be zero. Okay, so we're gonna increase the current up to 2 volt. Right now the voltage value across the resistor is 2.02 volt and the current value across the resistor is 0.015 milliampere. Then we increase the voltage up to 4 volt. Then the voltage across the resistor is 3.98 volt and the current across the resistor is 0.036 milliampere, right? Then we increase the voltage of the power supply up to 6. The voltage across the resistor is 5.97 volt and the current value is 0.056 milliampere. Voltage across the power supply is 8. Right, then at that time voltage across the resistor is 7.9 and the current value is across the resistor is 0.077 milliampere. Then we can increase up to 10 volt. Voltage across the resistor is 9.9 volts and current across the resistor is 0.098 milliampere. Okay, then we're going to change the resistor value. Okay, this resistor is 4 mega ohm. Instead of 10 mega ohm, I have used here 4 mega ohm resistor, right? Then we can repeat the steps as we did in the previous resistor values. Starting voltage is 0 volt, then values will be 0. Then we can increase up to 2 volts. Right, then you can see the voltage across the resistor is 2.08 volt. The current values will be current values will be 0.001 milliampere. You can see the current value is ready is low, is lower than the previous values, right? If you can go back to the previous readings, right? So now we're going to increase up to 4 volt. Then voltage value across the resistor is 4.005 volt, and the current value across the resistor is right. I think you can see what I did here. Since it is a smaller current than the previous values, we have to change the multimeter settings into microampere range, right? Unless in milliampere range we cannot see the smaller values than in previous settings, so we have to change the ampere settings into microampere settings. Okay, so for 4 volt, the voltage across the resistor is 3.88 volt, and the current values will be 1.19 microampere. Then for 6 volt, the voltage across the resistor is 6.10, and the current value across the resistor is 1.88 microampere. Okay, then we can increase the voltage up to 8 volt. Then you can see the voltage across the resistor is 8.08 volt and 2.4 microampere. Now it's 10 volt. The voltage across the resistor is 10 volt and 0.1 volt, and the current value is 3.12 microampere. Likewise, you can see that is there's a big difference between the resistor values, right? When resistor is increased, you can see the current values have been changed from milliampere to microampere range. Okay, so that is what we going to what we need to show you, right?